few of my subscribers have come up to me with this story, and I felt like I just had to talk about it. I don't know if it's because it's an Asian guy or because he's my age that it's kind of hitting a little different. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but I feel so numb to all the people getting drugged and dying in Colombia. I remember it was a huge shock a couple years ago when Timothy Reed, when he died in Barranquilla, but he got shot because of a botched robbery, even though a lot of people think that the girl was in on it. But every day I hear stories of robbings or of druggings. This guy made a really good video actually of like trying to catch the girls who scopolamined him. I've been thinking about the context of all of this, and I wonder if Colombia is to blame for allowing this to happen. Is it because of Colombians' culture? Is it because of all the foreigners coming in, taking advantage of how cheap it is to live here and painting all the women a certain way? I think it's really easy for a lot of us, especially on the expats page, man, those guys are ruthless, to try to blame the victim and see like, why weren't they smarter? But I think it's kind of a bigger tale of what it's like dating nowadays. Men in the US, in the West, are just so sick and tired of dating. I was on a phone call with one of my subscribers. He's from Canada, and he was telling me how bad it was there. I think it's just like an overall thing that's happening in the world right now, where dating is becoming so trivialized. It's extremely hard to find somebody to trust nowadays, you know? I don't know, man. I feel like the druggings and everything that's happening on Tinder right now has been getting worse over the last couple of years. I think that Colombia is just getting a reputation for the women, right? It's had this reputation, but even more so now. And I think places like Cartagena and Medellin are just like the worst hubs for prostitutes and this kind of behavior, right? I was watching this video earlier that popped up on my page. I'm not saying that the video is bad at all, right? These guys are, you know, good looking dudes and the video is pretty dope. But I think this perfectly explains why these kind of foreigners are being attracted to these cities. Because if you look at the videos, it just shows like, oh, just super party. It just shows about all the women, how hot the women are, but they rarely talk about how all these women are paid for. And I think a lot of guys, when they see these videos, they're like, oh my god, Colombia is like a safe haven for women, right? I don't know, man. I just feel like I'm getting sick and tired of like seeing this stuff. It's getting pretty exhausting talking about it. I try to be open and honest about everything as possible on my channel, right? With my life and with living in Colombia. And as much as I love the country for the people and my wife and my church and everything that it's brought me, it's very hard to deny the really real dangers of living here, how easy it is to get scammed. I've been scammed twice here. The first one was with a real estate agency that asked for a deposit more than it actually should have been, but I was in a desperate situation, so I ended up paying it, 4 million Colombian pesos, and these guys still haven't returned my money yet. A lawyer who's supposed to be helping me with immigration, turns out he also scammed me for 2 million Colombian pesos plus $100 that I paid for the consultation. I had to sue him and put a complaint within the Department of Justice here as well. So there's just a lot of like organization and bureaucracy issues here in this country, apart from all these druggings and the women problem that is going on right now. Day by day, it feels like Colombia is getting less safe. There are more scams popping up, targeting foreigners. A lot of these people on the street don't know how much scopolamine to use, which is exactly how this guy died. It's so funny how many people have hit me up claiming that they met a woman on Tinder or online, right? And they ask me for my advice, say it's a scam or anything, right? And it's very possible that it's not. I know a lot of people who have been successful meeting a person online. I think just the risk is too high now, right? So if I were to show you something and say like, okay, there's an 80% chance that you're either gonna get scammed, robbed, drugged, or it's a prostitute, maybe a 15% chance that you may meet somebody, are you gonna take those odds? I don't think those odds are good at all. I think stories like these make me really want to appreciate my wife, right? And the way that we met and the relationship that we have. But also too, it just makes me really think about the state of tourism here in Colombia right now. I think it's great that Colombia is not a secret anymore, and there's a lot of people coming here for the right reasons, wanting to explore the country and all of those things, but the sex tourism is actually like a really big problem now. And not in the sense that like I have a problem with sex tourism, it's just more that the druggings and the killings and all these things are just happening too often to the point where we're just also numb about these kind of stories now. I think it's easy to say that, oh, this guy's just dumb, you know, Colombia's not like this. And I see posts all the time where like, oh, my 2-3 months in Colombia or Medellin, I didn't have any problems like this. And I'm just like, bro, you're making an opinion off of being here in Poblado for like 2 or 3 months, but for most of the expats that do actually live here, we see this stuff happening all the time. It's very interesting to see what is gonna go on in the future. I don't know if dating in Colombia is getting better or getting worse. I don't know if I can recommend it anymore. Now that David's channel is gone, I kind of have a responsibility to talk about these things, but I know my man DC Rob, pretty much his whole entire channel talks about Medellin news, and he covers most of these stories better than I do. So let's talk about it, right? Whose fault do you guys think it is? You guys think it's Colombia? Colombia's fault? Do you think it's social media's fault? Do you think it's all these YouTubers that are coming to the country portraying a certain kind of image? Or you think it's just like we need to accept some personal responsibility and it's these guys' own fault for leading with their dicks and not seeing all the red flags? It's funny when a lot of people talk about getting drugged. Sure, it's possible that they didn't expect it and some girl blew it on them at a bar, but a lot of times these guys are inviting these women into their house. I think it's too easy to victim blame, but at the same time I think there is a certain level of personal responsibility there as well. I know the Colombian booty can be very hypnotizing, but I think we need to be a lot smarter. If you guys want to hit me up for a consultation, contact me here. We can talk about life, dating, living in Colombia, business, anything. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.